Look, we all know Vice President Harris is a climate champion, an unapologetic climate champion. She's an environmental leader, and when we elect her president, she's going to tackle the climate crisis with the scale and scope needed. Well, today we are joined by someone who is helping to make that possible, Ike Irby. Dr. Irby is a senior advisor to Vice President Harris on the Harris for President campaign. Scientist by training, Ike most recently served in the Biden-Harris administration as special assistant to the president and deputy domestic policy advisor and chief climate advisor to the vice president. And we are so fortunate to have him here today. Please join me. Give him a big applause.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here today with all of you. As Michelle noted, I am Senior Advisor to Vice President Harris and have been an advisor for her since 2017 when I started as her Climate, Energy, and Environment Advisor in the Senate. It's so good to be here at the DNC convention in a room full of people committed to a future where clean air and clean water are a right for all and not just those who can afford it. A future where we build an opportunity economy that lifts all communities and powers the dreams, ambitions, and aspirations of all Americans. Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz are committed to bold action to build a clean energy economy, create good jobs, ensure America's energy security, reduce emissions, protect public health, support communities in the face of climate disasters, and hold polluters accountable. As District Attorney, Vice President Harris established one of the first environmental justice units in the nation. As Attorney General, she won millions in settlements against big oil and fought alongside communities simply calling for cleaner air. As Senator, she held the Trump administration to account for dismantling our environmental and public health protections, and as Vice President, she cast the tie-breaking vote to pass the largest investment in climate action in history. This historic work is lowering energy costs, creating hundreds of thousands of high-quality jobs, bolstering our energy security and independence, and ensuring America leads the clean energy economy. Over the last 3 years, Vice President Harris has worked alongside President Biden to expand protections for public lands, make historic investments in clean water, clean transportation, and resilience, advance environmental justice, and harness the power of America's future leaders by establishing the American Climate Corps. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz are fully committed to building upon this progress. But I want to share with you today is a glimpse behind the scenes at how Vice President Harris approaches and thinks about these issues. Whether it's in preparation for a visit to Lake Mead to discuss drought resilience, or a meeting with young climate leaders in Florida talking about their climate anxiety, or sitting down in her West Wing office with Administrator Regan to strategize how to get capital for clean energy projects to business owners and communities often locked out of traditional financing mechanisms. The Vice President, in every briefing, in every discussion, and in every decision, is intentional about asking how our policies will impact individuals and then taking the next step of asking who we have not thought about, who is not in the room or at the table, or even aware that this discussion is happening at all. Who are we designing policy for, and how does this policy intersect with our broader work? Take the issue of lead pipes. Without the Vice President, we would not be able to say that we are on track to remove every lead pipe in America. But when you hear our Vice President talk about this work, it is not just about infrastructure. It is about public health. It is about education so that our children can learn without brain damage from lead poisoning. It is about understanding the intergenerational impacts that policies like redlining have had. And it is about the government's role in meeting the cries for help from communities who have been fighting to remove lead pipes for generations. When the Vice President approaches an issue, it is not just an intellectual exercise devoid of context and reality. It is grounded in impact, compassion, and intentionality. That is why I've been so proud to support the Vice President over these last 7 years as we fight for a better future for all. I want to close by paraphrasing what Vice President Harris said last year at COP28 as she delivered the US statement. For as much as we have accomplished, there is still much more work to do, and continued progress will not be possible without a fight. We know there are those who seek to slow or stop our progress, leaders who deny climate science, delay climate action, and spread misinformation. But in the face of their resistance and in the context of this moment, we must do more. So now, DNC Environment and Climate Council, I ask you, are you ready to put in that work in the face of this resistance? We are the underdogs, and there are powerful forces out there that do not want us to win. We have 76 days to get this done and elect our next president, Kamala Harris. Thank you.